So you want the dependability and the efficiency of a Toyota RAV4, but with more luxury. What do? Well, Lexus has you covered with this 2022 Lexus NX350h. Essentially, underneath it is a Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, but this takes the luxury side of things up a few notches. So is this something that you should consider over the Genesis GV70 or the BMW X3? Let's go for a drive and find out. So in the Lexus NX350h, you will find a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. It produces a net horsepower figure of 240, but Lexus won't say how much net torque it produces. They will say, however, that the engine on its own produces 167 pound-feet of torque. From behind the steering wheel though, this actually feels like it has enough power, unlike many other hybrid Toyota/Lexus vehicles. When you actually put your foot down, you do get that sense of acceleration, especially when it's unloaded like how it is right now. When you're carrying passengers and cargo, then it may feel like as though this powertrain is struggling just a little bit when you're going up a really steep hill. But even so, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour is done somewhere around 7 seconds, which is pretty good considering that this crossover SUV weighs about 1.8 tons. But of course, 0 to 60 times is not the whole point of a crossover SUV like this. The whole point of it is to A, provide comfort and to be luxurious, but B, more importantly, the reason why you would choose a hybrid is, of course, fuel economy. Officially, the 2022 Lexus NX350h is rated for 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. In the real world, you can actually get better than advertised fuel economy if you're gentle with the throttle inputs. During my time with the SUV, I actually averaged 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which included mostly city driving, but as well as some highway blasts. The NX350h has a little 1.6 kilowatt-hour battery that can provide electric-only driving for brief periods. Primarily, this is done at speeds under approximately 70 kilometers an hour, or about 40 miles an hour, and under light throttle applications or maintaining speeds. At highway speeds, the only time that it switches to EV mode is when the car is coasting. There is a dedicated EV mode that allows for faster EV-only acceleration from a stop, but it automatically gets disabled if the NX350h goes faster than 35 kilometers an hour, or around 20 miles an hour. If you don't touch that button, however, and you're gentle with the throttle, the Lexus NX can accelerate up to about 65 kilometers an hour, or about 40 miles an hour, just on electricity alone. This, of course, has to be done with a nearly fully charged battery, and it'll be a very slow acceleration. In other words, you'll probably have a few angry tailgaters behind you. In terms of driving dynamics, the Lexus NX350h is not too bad. Of course, it's by no means a sporty luxury crossover SUV. It won't keep up with a Genesis GV70 or a BMW X3. But in its own right, it's pretty good, like I said. The steering has some good heft to it, and it's really nice and stable on highways. There, of course, isn't a whole lot of feedback through the steering wheel, but that's to be expected from a luxury crossover like this. However, one thing that I want to mention is the brakes. It does have regenerative braking, which does recharge the battery a little bit. The rest is done by the engine. and there isn't really that big of a difference between regen braking and using the physical brakes. However, the brake pedal itself, while it is really firm, it doesn't really have a whole lot of pedal travel. So to slow down from speed, it's pretty easy to modulate that pedal, but when you slow down a little bit more and arrive at a smooth stop, it's a lot harder to get that really smooth, complete stop. Most of the time it's either slow, 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 and a lot of that jerky motion. I've had this car for 5 days now and I'm still not completely used to this brake pedal. So if you have a heavier foot than I do, you might not really like this brake pedal action. Hopefully you do get used to it. I have been getting a bit more used to it, but it's still not completely smooth. I have to really focus to be extremely smooth. But other than that, the driving dynamics of this Lexus NX350h is pretty good for what it is. However, the main focus is, of course, comfort. Despite this version of the Lexus NX not being equipped with adaptive dampers, the ride is really good for having just standard suspension. It feels plush without being overly floaty, but over bigger bumps, it will take a few more jounces before the suspension settles the body. The seats are the other half of the comfort equation. They're plush, supportive, and don't induce any pressure points through your back, legs, or bum. This new generation of the Lexus NX was designed to provide more passenger space. However, you wouldn't know that from looking at it on paper, because it actually has less than some of its competitors. Even so, legroom in the front and the rear seats is good. My knees are nowhere near touching the dashboard, and behind my 6'4" driving position, I have an ample amount of space. But headroom is a different story. My hair doesn't brush up against the headliner, but it is close even with the driver's seat to its lowest position. If you're shorter, however, you can raise that front seat to a ridiculous height. In the back seats, headroom is also at a premium for taller individuals, and the competitors offer a little bit more of it. Behind the seats, the Lexus NX350h has one of the smaller trunks. It can accommodate just 643 liters of space with the rear seats up and 1,328 liters of space with the rear seats folded. The 2022 Lexus NX350h starts at $49,900 Canadian. This demo vehicle had the premium package equipped, which brought up the price only by a little bit to $51,400 Canadian. However, a fully loaded NX350h with the executive package will cost you upwards of almost $66,000 Canadian. Even though this NX350h was not fully loaded, it had just the right amount of gadgets. These included heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel with 2 settings, a 9.8-inch touchscreen, a power liftgate, a backup camera with parking sensors, new luxe synthetic leather, which is actually pretty convincing for the real stuff. There's a standard sunroof, memory driver seat, and power tilt and telescopic steering wheel. As you move up through the packages, the NX can be equipped with a larger 14-inch touchscreen, a head-up display, a larger panoramic sunroof, heated rear seats, 17-speaker Mark Levinson audio system, rear camera mirror, and wireless phone charging, among many other features. One odd thing is that the genuine leather upholstery is only available on the top-spec executive package. Arguably, one of the biggest new gadgets is the new infotainment system, which is the same one that is shared with new Toyota vehicles. This and the one used in Toyota vehicles is pretty much identical, right down to the graphics. It allows for wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Unlike the Toyota Tundra that I reviewed a while back, I have not had any issues in connecting wireless Android Auto to this system. The navigation system is subscription-based, but if you carry your smartphone, which pretty much everybody does these days anyway, You'll always have Google Maps or Waze to use for navigation via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. With the old NX, it looked like as though it had an overbite with no chin. That is, unless you got it in the F Sport. Then you would get a chin, as well as a grille that was so big that it looked like as though it was sucking up all of the dirt, debris, cats, dogs, small children, right off of the street that it was driving on. With this new one, you still get Jay Leno's chin, but at least the grille looks a bit more proportionate to the rest of the front fascia. I think it looks okay. I also really like the back with that light bar that stretches from one side of the car to the other. Normally, I'm not a big fan of those, but somehow on this NX, it just works. So overall, this is a pretty good and sharp looking SUV. On the safety side of things, the Lexus NX350h is equipped with standard Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0. This includes a wide range of driver and safety aids, from automatic emergency braking to lane keep to rear cross traffic alert. The only safety options that can be added on with higher spec packages include blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic braking, front cross traffic alert, lane change assist, and risk avoidance emergency steer assist. The 2022 Lexus NX also received a top safety pick plus from the IIHS. The crossover SUV received good ratings in every category, from crash tests to headlights and even the ease of latch use. So in all, the Lexus NX350h is a good option for those looking for a comfortable daily commuter type of luxury SUV. It's smooth, it's quiet, it has a refined interior, it's excellent on fuel economy, plus it has the added benefit of being a Toyota product underneath, so it'll be really dependable. If you want something that's more engaging to drive, then the Korean and German rivals are the ones you should be looking at. But none of them offer a traditional hybrid powertrain like this one. All they offer are plug-in hybrids, which are generally more expensive than this, or mild hybrids, which you can't drive on electricity alone. So the NX350h is definitely worth checking out. And if you want to know more about this 2022 Lexus NX350h, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.